Hello and welcome. What I have here in front of me today is another custom from Jesse Ganteaume. You may remember him because I did a review of the Cephalus and Nautilus sabers that he sent me a while back. You can see the Nautilus behind me there with the tentacle blade. The Cephalus is hanging around here somewhere. But those were Cthulhu-themed sabers. I liked those so much that I commissioned him to do another one for me. This one was actually for my wife for Christmas, and this is the Dracarys. So I wanted to take a little bit of a moment here to show off this saber, also to give you guys a little bit of a look at some of the versatility and what he can do. I'll link the reviews to the other sabers that he did for me in the description to this one. I'll also put a link to the base saber that he used. But Jesse is working with the Kybers people, so most of the base models that he's using are Kybers sabers. This again is the Kybers Soresu standard saber. But on top of it, he has put this paint and finish job, and it's getting a little bit more sophisticated as time goes on. I can see the little filigree in here is more sophisticated than it was on the Cephalus, and I'll give you a close-up of this in just a second, but the dragon scale patterns on here are just beautiful. Again, I sort of left this one up to him to determine the overall design. What I was asking for was a dragon-themed saber, and so this is what he sent me. Alright, so this is the Dracarys, and you're seeing it here with a Ripper Blades Twisted V2, because I thought it was appropriate. I've actually commissioned, I'm working on commissioning Ripper Blades to do a Flame Blade specifically for this. But a very nice looking saber. You can't really quite see it, but there is, well, I guess you can see it, but there is a texture to this that's very nice. And I've already had opportunity to knock this against a few things, inadvertently, of course. And the paint has not chipped yet, so it's a fairly decent finish. He's using, I'm not real sure what kind of technique, but he says he's using all kinds of different chip-resistant finishes on here. So overall, it seems to be fairly durable. It's a nice, solid base saber, and it really lends itself. I mean, there's a lot of detail on here that you don't quite see. Even right here, you notice on this piece, there's the black in the corner. So the texture and the weathering on this is very nice. Each one of the ones that he does, he also puts a little name tag on. This one is the Dracarys, which is from Game of Thrones, which is High Valyrian for Dragonfire, which I think is very appropriate for this saber. But even down to the weathered paper and the leather cord that he puts on these things, he does a very nice job. So this is the Dracarys saber from Jesse Ganteaume on top of or Ganteaume rather, and on top of a Kybers Soresu saber. This is a color changer as well. So one more thing that I wanted to show you about this, because there have been some questions about the Kybers sabers. So this isn't specific to his finish job, but I did just want to take this moment to sort of go into it a little bit. People have asked me about the audio stutter on these and whether or not they fixed it in some of the models. So let me show you what I'm talking about here. Listen to the hum. Alright, you hear that loop in there where the hum cuts out, for just a moment and then loops back in. There are two different versions of the Kybers soundboard. There's a more up-to-date version, and then there's this one. This is the older version. One of the ways that you can tell the difference between the two versions of the soundboard is if you plug this one in to charge, it just makes a loud beeping noise. If you plug the more up-to-date one in to charge, it says charging, the same way that this one just said sleeping. Now, they haven't quite fixed that audio flicker, and again, if you're using the spin, or if you're doing spins and clashes, it won't necessarily be still long enough for you to hear it. But if you are just holding it, you heard it on this one. They haven't quite fixed it, but they have made it better. Let me go ahead and grab the more recent version. Alright, so this is the Cephalus one that I was talking about that he did. So you can see the similarities here between the Cephalus and the Dracarys. And this was the other side of the staff that I sort of winged it on my own. This one has the newer board. So listen again to the audio. And then the newer version. This one's... This one has some phantom swings because it's not fully charged. But you notice that the audio flicker in that, it's kind of almost a duck quacking sound there right in the middle of the loop. So they've been working on it, but they still have that issue with the audio flicker. But I just figured I'd show you guys that there is a little bit of a change from board to board, but it is still an issue with these sabers. So most of the time when I use these, I have them on mute, just because I use them as stunt sabers primarily. All right, so there we have it, the Dracarys saber. Hope this has been interesting to you, and if so, please join me back for more.